Let's face it, folks, we are all suffering from stress and anxiety. Whether it is from a job, school, or family, it has all of us down with one mental illness or another. Let's face another reality: therapy is hell expensive. An alternative yet effective way of pulling yourself out of a slump is by reading self-help books. Self-help books are a great way to motivate yourself without spending half of your earnings on therapy. They offer insight into what may be the cause of your troubles as well as help in figuring out how to solve the problems. But when you're already crying and the book pushes you deep into another hour of crying, trust me, that book is not doing its job. You cannot pick any self-help book from the rack and expect it to help you. There is only a handful of them that actually do the job of helping rather than pointing out the obvious. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and share. If you're new to this channel, hit the subscribe button and press the bell icon to never miss an update. Links to the books are given in the description below. Number 10. Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus by John Gray. Mr. John Gray is the man behind this amazing book that is one of the top psychology books. Most of his work is about relationships and personal growth, so his words have a way of hitting their mark. The main point of this book is that it says that men and women are from different planets, men being Martians and women being Venusians. The book states that as the two genders are from different planets, their psychological development, emotions, and personalities are different from each other. The book helps in understanding the thought and emotional process of the other gender. If people from the two gender are in the same situation, how do their minds work in a different way and why? This is a great read for people who are having trouble with their spouses, as it helps in understanding the other person's point of view. Number 9. The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson. The great Mark Manson is an American author who loves writing books that fall right into the genre of self-help. His love for self-motivation has pushed him to write 4 books, 3 of which were the best-selling New York Times. After reading the title of this book, many readers assume that it is about having an indifferent and dismissive attitude about everything in your life. However, the truth is far from it. This book basically stresses over all the things that a person can add to his life to live a good and happy life. To put it in simple words, this book states how a person needs to find meaningful things to do in their life that will give them a sense of productivity. So rather than focusing on everything that is wrong or imposing false positivity over oneself, divert your energy to the things that are truly important to you. If you are able to look past the crass language of this book, it conveys a very good message and is a good read for people who find themselves stuck in situations where they are constantly prioritizing the happiness of others over their own. Number 8. How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. The person behind this book, Dale Carnegie, was an American author who often delivered lectures on the importance of self-improvement and interpersonal skills. He wrote many books, but his prominent work is also what he was truly passionate about: self-help. Even though this book was published in 1936, it is read and loved by people even today. The prime focus of the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, is that a person can easily change the course of their life. Whether it is getting a new job, getting a good position at their existing job, or having a smooth relationship with friends, the book is packed with pieces of advice that can help in any situation. The book also shares a couple of tips, including some of Dale's famous, such as the 6 ways to make people like you, the 9 ways that a person can change people around him without stirring any hate, or the 12 ways to easily win people and make them agree with your way of thinking. Personally, I think this is a great read for people who have a hard time conveying their own points of view. Number 7. The Magic of Thinking Big by David J. Schwartz. The author, David J. Schwartz, had spent most of his life being a motivational coach. The man could get his message across in simple and few words and have it taken seriously. So when he wrote The Magic of Thinking Big, it was loved across the globe. The Magic of Thinking Big is not your average self-help book that will shove useless advice down your throat. Instead, this book has a much more realistic approach and provides readers with methods that they can actually apply in their lives and benefit from. Be it your job, marriage, or relationship with family or friends, the book focuses on how positive thinking can have an impact on every aspect of a person's life. The reason I like this book is that along with positive thinking, it also stresses the importance of self-belief. To wrap it up, the author has divided the ways of achieving success into a couple of small steps. People mostly focus on hard work, but they also need to think positively and have bigger dreams. Number 6. Thinking, Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman. Being a psychologist, the approach of Daniel Kahneman's towards self-help is different than the average authors on the internet. He focuses on empowering people by teaching them about how a human mind works, and that alone makes his writing highly fascinating. In his book, Thinking, Fast and Slow, Daniel has simplified the human mind and how we think. He has divided the mind into two systems, one that thinks fast and is emotional, and the second that thinks slowly but is more logical. The book teaches how the two systems of the mind work, and how and when they get activated. This book really helps in learning how to control emotional responses and have a more reasonable and logical reaction to things. It really helps in decision-making, so if you are someone like me who struggles with making logical decisions, reading this book will open your mind. The best part is that the entire theme of the book is not clinical, but it is written in a conversational tone, which makes it easier to read it without getting bored to death. Number 5. Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor E. Frankl, Harold S. Kushner. Viktor E. Frankl was a psychiatrist and neurologist, but the main reason his words have the power to influence the readers is that he was a Holocaust survivor and has shared his own experience of survival in the book. The co-author of the book, Harold S. Kushner, is a well-known Israeli author that wrote many books of his own. The main theme of Man's Search for Meaning is based on the personal experience of the author in the Nazi camps. It states how a person can find a ray of positivity, even when the situation seems bleak, and use it to move forward. An interesting thing about this book is that it focuses on how trauma and suffering can be coped with, and how a person can find meaning and purpose in their pain if they wish to move forward in their life. The book also states the author's own theory of logotherapy, which is one of the schools of psychotherapy. The reason I personally like reading this book on rainy days is that it stresses how we make pleasure our primary drive and the center of our efforts. But what's more important than that is finding meaning. Number 4. The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. The brilliant mind of Robert Greene is behind this amazing book. In all his life, this American author has written many gems, many of which have been among the bestsellers of the New York Times. His book, The 48 Laws of Power, revolves around the main laws of power that have been taken from various philosophers over the centuries. The 48 laws that have been discussed in detail can be applied to any situation in your life, be it your relationship with your spouse or your life at the job. This book is a great read for people who find themselves subdued or have a pushover kind of personality. The book teaches great ways of gaining confidence and getting the power that will help you excel in various situations in your life and boost your confidence. Number 3. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill and Ben Holden, Crowther. Wherever self-help and positive books are mentioned, the name of Napoleon Hill is right at the top. This American author gave us the best self-help book of all time, Think and Grow Rich. What makes Think and Grow Rich an amazing and fascinating read is the fact that this book was published right after the Great Depression. It was a great read at that time, and the rules this book states can be used even today. The major context of this book is that the key to gaining positive outcomes and having good results relies on one's mind. If you have a positive thought process that is followed by some specific steps stated in the book, then you can easily alter the course of your life. To take the title of the book in literal words, every person has the power to turn his thoughts into riches. The affirming tone, along with the principles of transformation stated in this book, make it an excellent read. So it's ideal for those people who often find themselves stuck in a loop of negative thoughts followed by similar behavior. Number 2. The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen R. Covey. Before jumping to the book, let's discuss the author in a few words. Stephen R. Covey wrote many amazing books in his life, but his main focus was always on writing self-help books that can help readers accomplish confidence and affirmation. The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People is one of the greatest books of all time, found in the self-help genre. The reason behind the hype over this book is that instead of leading to grand gestures or major changes, it points out smaller habits that can lead to life-changing results if adapted for the long run. This is not the kind of book that you read and then forget. If a person truly wants to change their life, then they need to implement the 7 ideals that Stephen has shared in this book. These 7 habits include everything from engaging your body the right way to your way of thinking and controlling your mind. This book is truly an amazing read if a person actually wants to learn how to keep pushing forward in the right direction. Number 1. Atomic Habits by James Clear. Being a public speaker, James Clear has dealt with multiple situations that involved critical decision-making and breaking old and vicious habits. The author focuses on these fields in all his public speeches, as well as books. Atomic Habits is one of the best reads for any person who wants to read a good self-help book. The major theme of this book revolves around the habits of an individual, good and bad. We have often heard that making habits are out of our control. Well, this book negates that point of view. It states how a person can make and develop good habits, as well as break the old ones that are negatively impacting their lives. The best part is that the behavioral changes this book asks a person to make are so small and tiny that sometimes readers often feel that implementing those changes will not give them the desired result. But that is not the truth. James uses simple and clear terms to describe how small changes can change our system, which can help us change our habits to achieve all our goals. In the genre of self-help, these were all of the books that I found to be interesting as well as actually worth the time. If you want to change your mindset and alter the course of your life, I highly recommend you pick any one of these books, implement it in your life, and watch how things fall into their place. If this video helps you find the next book you are going to read, then like and share this video. Let me know in comment section on what type of books I should cover in my next video. Also, if you read one of the book mentioned in this video, share your review or thoughts with us. Subscribe this channel for more such awesome videos. Thanks for watching.